Your Honor, a mammal that has been wrongly accused of murder. We're all familiar with the case on some level, even all the way out into the Commonwealth, because of the resounding shock it caused through all of Zootopia. So that such a well-respected member of his community, such a well-known and beloved leader could commit such a horrible crime against someone that he loved so dearly was unthinkable. Otterton was found over his wife's body with the murder weapon in his paws, her blood on his hands and soaked into his sweater. That much we know is fact. There was no sign of forced entry into their home. That is also fact. Other basic facts in the case include that she was stabbed once in the heart with a long-bladed kitchen knife, and it was only moments after the determined time of death that Emmett Otterton himself called emergency response. And that is where things get less factual and more circumstantial and worse, unusual. An anonymous tip was received at 9:54 p.m. to report a murder. Ms. Otterton was confirmed alive at this time. The fact that this caller was never identified was omitted from the case. The ZPD arrived on the scene at 10:02 p.m., 10 minutes before the EMT, and reported leading a sobbing Otterton away from his wife's body without resistance. And because they knew him, no arrest was made until later in the week. Expert testimony was never requested during the trial, such as the coroner's report that confirmed death was caused by a single, precise knife wound between the ribs that pierced the heart. The question was never raised as to why, if this was a crime of rage and passion, he only stabbed her once, or how there was no sign of a struggle inside of the house, or the fact that there were also no defensive wounds on Mr. Otterton, even though there were some signs of some struggle given tearing in Miss Otterton's blouse. What I am saying, Your Honor, is that justice has not been properly served in the case of Emmett Otterton. It is true that justice is blind, but at the same time, justice cannot be blind to the truth. All the facts that have not been considered, no, many of the facts were outright ignored or conveniently barred from the case. The eyes of Zootopia were on the Otterton murder trial, and I fear that those eyes saw a miscarriage of justice, and because law and order are slowly dying in this city, accepted it without complaint. And until Emmett Otterton is given a fair trial, with a defense that is interested in absolving him of a crime that he did not commit, rather than accepting that the system in Zootopia cannot be broken, I fear it would only get worse. I plead with the court to consider my appeal, to look beyond the gavel and allow me to defend an innocent mammal. Miss Hobbs, now that the appeal has been accepted, what are your next steps? Miss Hobbs, would you consider an interview now that the foreseeable future isn't here in the city? Miss Hobbs, do you really think you can win this case? Miss Hobbs, Victorian-haired and ZNN, is this your personal protection? Did the administrator provide for your safety? Go ahead. Ask it. Do you work for the administrator? No. Does the defense have any further questions? Who do you work for? You. I meant who sent you? What agency? What policing body? What member of the city council? Someone must have sent you. And I think that's the answer. The answer is why you've been refusing to talk about it. You're under orders. I don't work for an agency or a policing body or a member of the council. I wasn't sent by any establishment or clandestine organization or one of those corporations. I don't work for anyone. You work for me? Yes, I work for you. If you do, I need to be able to trust you. I need to be able to trust you with my life. and I don't know anything about you. Look, Fluff. Maybe if it were that easy, I would tell you everything you could ever want to know about me. But it doesn't. Trust doesn't come from hearing someone's life story. Trust doesn't come from someone asking you to trust them. So I will skip those steps. But I will tell you this. If there's ever a time you can't trust me, if there's ever a time when you can't trust me, you're going to die. You've already tried frightening me into going back into Bunny Burrow, and it didn't work then, and it won't work now. Especially since the appeal has been accepted. Yes, using what I said about the system in Zootopia to drive your point home. And I keep saying it because I want to drive the point home how dangerous this city is for a cute little bunny.